UFC 312 just wrapped up. I'm going to be giving my immediate reaction, thoughts, and breakdown of the card. Overall, it was a pretty forgettable card. It wasn't awful. There wasn't no memorable fights, but there wasn't really anything that stood out. The main events were pretty much what I expected. We'll talk about Zhang Weili's performance. I thought that was very impressive. Tatiana Suarez really couldn't do anything to her. DRICUS du Plessis also dominated his fight. It felt like very similar performances, actually, how both the champions were pretty dominant and not many people expected it to be that dominant. DRICUS wasn't able to get a finish, but he did break Sean's nose pretty brutally. But let's get into the entire card here. Starting off at the early prelims, we're just going to go through the important ones because let's be honest, this card was not filled with the best fights. When I first started this card, I was like, dang, this might be the best card of all time. We had I call him Quilliam, but his name is Quilliam Salkild versus Anshul Jubilee. Anshul Jubilee, it's time to go back to driving Uber Eats, buddy. It's time to go back to that call center, buddy. You're not making the cut, boss. You're not making it till next year. 19-second KO. Bro thinks he's Peyton Talbot. This was crazy. Quilliam Salkild just, one big overhand over the top, and it was a bit of an early stoppage, I will admit, but these guys are on the early prelims. You know, it's not a champion where you should let them recover. I do honestly think it was a little bit unfair, but the dude looked like he was out cold, so fair play. It was pretty good way to start off the card. Next up, we got another pretty good fight, an upset, like a pretty decent upset. Jonathan Mikalev making his debut against Kevin Jousset. Mikalev, it was really just a battle of body kicks. Like, this dude would load up with his right, I think it was his right leg, and just absolutely whip the body kicks over and over and over again. And they're so slow. Like, man, I don't know what's going on with Kevin Jousset. I would have thought we didn't do official picks, but I would have thought he was going to win this one. He's been in the UFC for a while now. Jonathan Mikalev making his debut looked awful on the regional, not awful. He looked not the same on the regional scene. And he comes out and he does pretty well. 29-28 unanimous decision. I thought it was very impressive. Moving up the card, what an incredible fight. I was texting Dylan about this. I was like, man, the first round is probably the best round we've seen in 2025 so far, if not one of the best rounds I've seen for a couple years. And then, you know, it wasn't the highest level fight. They were kind of just throwing bombs back and forth, but they were going back and forth. They were getting knocked down over and over again. And Rongju, he kind of showed out. I'm going to be honest. He did the Max Holloway. I'm telling you, bro, every Asian fighter does the Max Holloway. Tell me that's not true. Rongju did the Max Holloway at the end. He pointed to the ground. It was hype. Cody Steele couldn't get it done. This was honestly a great fight. Stand and bang, and Rongju ended up getting the unanimous decision. Moving up the card, another good fight. I guess there was a lot of good fights on the prelims. I thought the prelims were very good. Colby Thickness versus Alexander Topuria. He's not a fraud, ladies and gentlemen. We finally found a good pair of brothers, not Herbert Burns. This guy is not Herbert Burns, all right? This guy is not freaking, what's his name? Mo Usman. This guy is not Mo Usman, bro. Anyways, yeah, I thought this was going to be a lot closer than it was. I thought Colby Thickness had a good shot because of how much Volk was hyping him up, and he did have a little bit better wins on his resume. But you have to remember, Alexander Topuria took 5 years off or longer, 6 years off in 2015, and didn't fight for a while. So that's when he learned all of his boxing. That's when he taught the boxing to Topuria. That's where they really developed this style of head movement. I've seen a lot of people saying that he has better head movement than Topuria. It's weird. He moves his head more and exaggerates the movements more, but he doesn't have as good of a guard as Topuria. Topuria always is in the right position for that guard to block kicks. Yeah, I think Topuria is still a much more skilled fighter and a much more, I don't know if it's naturally talented. Maybe it is just that 5-6 years off from Alexander Topuria's career that really made the difference in their fighting level. He definitely will be a ranked bantamweight. I believe that is pretty confident. Dude, give him Peyton Talbot. Give him Peyton Talbot. Let's go. Another person Peyton Talbot can lose to. I thought this was a good fight. He almost got Thickness almost got knocked out in the first round and then managed to recover. And Topuria Played it a little bit safe from there, which is completely fine. You can't expect every Topuria fight to be a highlight knockout. Wang Kong. Dude, I thought Wang Kong was getting a second fraud check. Bruno Brazil, you're cut from the Fighting Nerds, all right? You're gone. Why did you not take this? Why? Okay. You literally saw Wang Kong get dominated on the ground and submitted instantly. Why are you not shooting a takedown? You are not going to win a striking battle with a kickboxer. Man. Idiots, man. And this isn't even a woman who has her husband in the corner, so you can't even use that excuse. Tom Nolan, big win for my boy Tom. Let's go. Everyone thought Tom Nolan was going to be the guy to sell the Australian parlay, but it was actually Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins. We'll talk about that in a second. Tom Nolan got a good win. I did not know he was 6'3". The dude's massive for lightweight. Got a pretty decisive victory. I believe it was 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards, and just outstruck Borchev for the entire time. Stuffed takedowns when he needed to. Overall, great performance from Tom Nolan. Could be a serious prospect, but also the height might give him some issues in the future, just cutting that weight repeatedly. Next up the card, Gabriel Santos looking like prime Charles Oliveira out there, getting the submission. Oh yeah, this was a third round submission, man. It was a long night. All right. It was a long night. Jack Jenkins had that head kick early on in the fight, and I was thinking, we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tom Nolan Jack Jenkins parlay is about to hit. And then Gabriel Santos recovered. I think he had a triangle attempt from the back, which was really nice. And it was tight. And Jack Jenkins didn't tap. So that was respectable. And then Santos just dominated on the ground. You know, Jack Jenkins could not do anything on the ground. And it was a very, 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 very impressive performance from Gabriel Santos. Probably someone to watch on the way up. Jake Matthews, good performance. If you stay in boxing range with him, you're not going to win. Jimmy Crute, oh, this was so dumb versus Rodolfo Bellato. It was a good fight, but I thought Jimmy Crute won. Is that crazy? I thought Jimmy Crute won that fight. I don't know. Maybe it's Australian bias, and I'm not even Australian, but I thought Jimmy Crute won that fight. I had him to win that fight, but Rodolfo Bellato has a chin on him, man. This dude looks like he's Poeton maxing in his profile picture, but he's not that guy. The tattoos are interesting, but yeah, Jimmy Crute. It was a good fight, but I'm just disappointed. Also, these guys are small light heavyweights. Like, I was looking at them, I thought they were middleweight the entire time, and then it said light heavyweight. You can probably tell we didn't do much research for this card because this card's shit. Oh, bro. Justin Tafa, the entire Pacific island of Samoa is freaking cooked, dude. Cut them. Just cut Tai Tuivasa, cut Justin Tafa, cut Junior Tafa. I'm sure there's more heavyweights out there that need to be cut. It's sad. It's honestly sad. Taliesin Teixeira coming off the Contender Series. He had a great debut on there. He's a high-level kickboxer. He's 6'7" or 6'6" for the division. He's just absolutely tall and absolutely smashed Justin Tafa's nose. You've probably seen the clip. Just boom, boom. It was wild. It was sad. Like, Justin Tafa, you'd think he's a decent heavyweight, and then you see a performance like that. It's like, oh yeah, heavyweight just doesn't have any skill. And a guy coming off the Contender Series can just KO him in 10 seconds like that. It was 35 seconds. Whatever. Same thing. Now let's move on to the only two fights anyone actually cared about on this card. Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez, the GOAT. The women's MMA GOAT, some are saying, and I am some. Yeah, what a great performance. Stuffed. I think it was, in the end, it was probably 15 out of the 16 takedowns. Like, can we see this? No. All right. Yeah. Don't know how to work the UFC site. But, yeah, stuffed almost all the takedowns. It was really only in that first round where Tatiana Suarez, Zhang Weili overextended. Tatiana Suarez got that takedown very easily. But even then, Zhang Weili almost reversed the position on the way down, which was impressive. And from there, I was like, oh no, is Tatiana Suarez just going to dominate on the ground? I should have picked her. Wrestlers always win. And then Zhang Weili outclassed her in the striking, in the boxing, and in the wrestling. Tatiana Suarez, who is an accomplished wrestler, could not beat Zhang Weili, who just picked up wrestling in the past couple years, who just, like, obviously she's been doing it for a while, but has just gotten really good at it in the last 2 years, which is just insane to me that someone who is naturally athletic like Zhang Weili can actually take it to someone like Tatiana Suarez in the wrestling. And obviously it's MMA, so everything's mixed up. So it's not exactly the same as college wrestling, but you know what I mean. It was just an extremely impressive performance. I want to see Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko next. Shevchenko does have some matchups. I guess Manon Fiorot is probably the next one for her, but I'd say Zhang Weili deserves it. China, we're going to China. Yes, sir. All right, next fight, we have DRICUS du Plessis versus Sean. I'm going to go to war for you guys. Me and the Dutchman, we're going to bleed. Oh, I can't even do his American voice. Oh, DRICUS, my boy, the real African champion. He did it again. He looked the cleanest he has ever looked in any fight I've seen. Okay, tell me how this dude was ever a K1 kickboxing champion. Riddle me that. How was DRICUS du Plessis a K1 kickboxing champion with his garbage style? But he actually looked good in this fight. I'm going to be honest. He is improving. It is so clear to see that he's improving. And I know we're going to hear about Strickland had staph infection. Strickland got his nose broken in the fourth. You know, I don't care, dude. DRICUS is improving. You have to admit that. He looked quite a bit better than in the Izzy fight. He looked miles better than in the first Sean fight. So he's continuously improving his game. He has heavy hands. We know he has heavy hands, but he actually like game planned very well, I felt like, for this fight. Who beats Strickland in a 5-round stand-up fight for every single round? Like, who does that to Who does that? Who does that to Strickland, bro? Come on. DRICUS does that to Strickland in a like no takedowns from DRICUS. We were all thinking, oh, DRICUS isn't gonna agree to that stand and bang pact to Sean because he needs the takedowns to win. That's his path to success. Bro did not need the takedowns. He could have agreed to that pact and Strickland would have lost, which is just embarrassing. I don't know what, like, Strickland could maybe take a bit of time off, even though he did take a long time off between Paulo Costa and this DRICUS fight. He could take some time off and then fight Izzy. I've heard Izzy's taking some time off. That's what Dana White said in the post-fight press conference. So we could see both of them take some time off. Or Strickland could get right back on the horse and fight like a Caio Borralho, an Imavov even for a number one contender spot. Or you could do Imavov versus Caio for a number one contender. For DRICUS, it's easy. It's Khamzat Chimaev. And then after that, the winner of Khamzat DRICUS can fight the winner of Caio Imavov. I think that is a great fight. I think Khamzat DRICUS will be a great fight. It's going to be tough to take down someone as big as DRICUS. And I know there's clips of him taking down himself. So you guys are thinking, oh, well, you know, he's clumsy. He falls over. The dude's massive. And I think I actually liked the fact that they had 2 days to rehydrate, or a day and 3/4 to rehydrate. Everyone had great cardio on this card. Except for Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato. Everyone had really, really good cardio on this card. So I think the rehydration for a day and a half actually really helped the fighting quality. Even though there wasn't the most amount of finishes we've ever seen, it was still a great card. Let me know what you guys think. What's next for DRICUS? What's next for Sean? What's next for Zhang Weili? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.